we are going to be talking about theme. Now, when we talk about theme, this is something you guys have covered in class before. We think about theme, we know that this is a lesson or a moral of a story. And a lot of times when you guys think about theme, you guys think about things like love, or maybe family. Something else that comes up a lot in stories might be something like hope, or maybe even, I think honesty is something I see a lot in stories that we read. But in reality, really, these are not themes. I'm going to put a big fat X on that. These are actually topics. But they're going to come in handy because these are something that we're actually going to use today to help us come up with a theme. This is something you're going to be working on in your station today. So we're going to use these topics to help us develop a theme. Now, when we want to come up with the theme, I have some steps for us today that are going to help us create this. And obviously with step 1, we're going to use these topics in just a second. Anytime we want to do a theme, we're going to always want to read the text. Now today, we're not going to have time when you're working with me to read the text. So we're going to take a movie that pretty much all of us have seen. We're going to take the movie Finding Nemo. So that's going to be our step 1. And what we're going to do with that is we're going to create a list of topics like we just did here, but we're going to make them of topics that came up frequently in the movie Finding Nemo. So that's going to be our step 2. We're going to go ahead and do that right now. All right, so I'm going to grab another sheet of paper, and we're going to create a list of topics that come up frequently in the movie Finding Nemo. All right, so here we go. Finding Nemo. All right, so when I think about this movie, I want to think about common topics that come up like that. So something I see often in Finding Nemo. Love, there's lots of love between the characters. Family, lots of messages between family members. Trust. Oh, obedience. Risk, taking risk. Let me scoot this up so you guys can see what I'm writing. Oh, maybe in danger. There's some dangers that are in that movie even too. So I've come up with a list of topics that come up throughout the movie. Now I'm going to pick just one that I think is probably the most important, something that came up frequently. And when I think about that movie, something I think that all the characters had to learn throughout the movie, the one that really stands out to me is trust. Okay, so I'm going to come back here to my steps to creating a theme and being successful. So reading the text, that's us. We've already seen the movie. Create a list of topics. We just did that. Now I have to choose a topic. So we just now chose trust. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move to step 4. And I'm going to use this sentence stem. I'm going to write on a separate sheet of paper, and I'm going to use this sentence stem right here. The author believes that, and I'm going to complete this sentence using the topic that we selected, trust. Okay, so what I'm doing right now in my brain, I'm thinking ahead, and I am thinking about trust in the movie. And I'm thinking, okay, I know that the author knew that trust was very important, but that's something I don't want to do. I don't want to be vague and only say that the author believes that trust is important. I want to be a little more specific than that. So I'm going to go on with that, and I'm going to say that, the author believes that it is important to trust yourself and others. Okay, so when I think about the movie, that would definitely apply. I know in the movie, Marlin, Nemo's father, had to trust himself. He had to trust Dory. He had to trust Nemo. Same thing with Nemo. He had to learn to trust others. He had to learn to trust himself. So this is a theme that I saw consistent throughout the movie. Now, if you notice, I didn't include any specific events or characters in this. but I was detailed in here. Now, something I want to do, I want to make sure I'm using my sentence stem, but I do not want to be vague. So when I say being vague, something like being vague would look like this. The author believes trust is important. This isn't good. This is not specific, okay? This is not as detailed and as clear as this other one right here. The author believes it's important to trust yourself and others. All right, now guys, I want you to hold on because we're not quite done yet, okay? We were on step 4. Okay, we had completed several other steps. I'm going to review those with you, okay? We had read the text, create a list of topics. We chose our topic, which was trust, okay? Then we wrote, the author believes that. Now for step 5, this one is important. We need to make sure we do that because this is where we get our actual theme. We need to cross out the author believes that, and we're going to revise. So let me show you what that looks like. All right, so I'm going to come right here, and I'm going to cross this out. The author believes that. That is not part of my theme. I'm going to get rid of it. Now, the other part of step 5, it said to revise. So now I'm going to just basically fix my sentence. It is important to trust yourself and others. And ta-da, guys, I have my theme. It is important to trust yourself and others. So that would be a good theme for the movie Finding Nemo. All right, so I want to review before I release you guys to do your station work on your own. I want to just remind you some tips. Remember, we talked about don't be too vague. We want to be specific. Okay, remember, look at the difference in this. It is important to trust yourself and others. That was our theme that we went with. Not this one that just said the author believes trust is important. Trust is important, or this one. This one's much more specific. Okay, so remember, let's not be vague. And remember, we're not going to include specific characters or events. When I look at this theme, I did not include Nemo or Marlin or Dory, anything like that. I'm only including the lesson that was learned. All right, and make sure we cross this out. Okay, we're going to review our steps one more time, and then I'm going to explain to you what you're going to be doing in your station. All right, so remember, you have to read the text. You're going to create a list of your topics. That looks like this right here, and we had selected trust for the example that we did together. Okay, we chose our topic with step number 3. You're going to use our sentence stem. The author believes that. And that's where you're going to develop your sentence. And then our final step, 5, you're going to cross out. The author believes that. And you're going to revise it. You may have to change your wording a little bit to make it a nice quality and complete sentence. Okay, so now you guys are ready to do your station work. What you have at your table, there should be in a folder at your table, you're going to have 4 short texts to read. They're going to look something like this, but they may be on a different colored card. You're going to need to go through the steps just like we have done, and you're going to do this independently. You're going to read the card, and you're going to go through these steps. Your teacher is looking for these steps. Did you create a list of topics? Did you use your sentence stem? Did you cross out, edit, and revise it? Okay, so she's looking for these specific steps that we did together. All right, I know you're going to be successful, and just in case you need to review our steps, they are also in that folder for you. All right, good job, guys. You're going to do great finding the theme.